Tape reveals Donald Trump bragging about groping women. Using extraordinarily vulgar language, Donald J. Trump boasted in a 2005 conversation about pushing himself on women and kissing and groping them, remarks that were caught on a live microphone and widely circulated on Friday. The revelation left the Republican Party shocked and reeling, and the House Speaker abruptly withdrew Mr. Trump's invitation to campaign alongside him on Saturday in Wisconsin. During the exchange with the television personality Billy Bush of the program Access Hollywood, Mr. Trump recalls how he once pursued a married woman and moved on her like a bitch, but I couldn't get there, expressing regret that they did not have sex. But he brags of a special status with women. Because he was a star, he said, he could grab them by the pussy whenever he wanted. You can do anything, Mr. Trump says. The explosive revelation of his coarse remarks on the eve of a crucial debate on Sunday against Hillary Clinton represented a new low for a campaign that had already redefined the standards of political discourse to fit Mr. Trump's penchant for insults, mocking, threats and demagogic insinuations. A 3-minute video clearly capturing Mr. Trump's voice and obtained by the Washington Post ricocheted across social media and cable television and instantly became one of the most powerful weapons yet for Democrats to persuade undecided female voters and others to back Mrs. Clinton. Continue reading the main story Crossing the Line. How Donald Trump behaved with women in private. May 14, 2016. Republicans in the awkward position of running with the inflammatory Mr. Trump at the top of their ticket were shell-shocked on Friday afternoon, and party leaders issued highly public rebukes of his remarks. Paul D. Ryan, the House Speaker, said that Mr. Trump would no longer attend what was to be their first joint appearance at an event in Wisconsin. I am sickened by what I heard today, Mr. Ryan said in a statement. Women are to be championed and revered, not objectified. Mr. Trump, in a statement, sought to minimize the lewdness of his remarks and even implicate Mrs. Clinton's husband, Bill, in his behavior. This was locker room banter, a private conversation that took place many years ago. Bill Clinton has said far worse to me on the golf course, not even close, Mr. Trump said in a statement. I apologize if anyone was offended. But Mr. Trump's remarks seemed more troubling than boys will be boys banter. He said he was compulsively drawn to kissing beautiful women like a magnet, I don't even wait, and talked about plotting to seduce the married woman by taking her furniture shopping. Mr. Trump, who was 59 at the time, went on to disparage the woman, whom he did not name, saying, I did try and fuck her. She was married, and she's now got the big phony tits and everything. As Friday evening went on, the condemnations of Mr. Trump grew louder, and senior Republicans privately predicted that this would be the tipping point for a number of members of Congress to move away from their nominee. Hitting on married women? Condoning assault? Such vile degradations demean our wives and daughters and corrupt America's face to the world, Mitt Romney, who has vocally opposed Mr. Trump, wrote on Twitter. And Jon Huntsman, the former Republican governor of Utah who just a week ago said he planned to vote for Mr. Trump, told the Salt Lake Tribune that the nominee should withdraw from the race. In a campaign cycle that has been nothing but a race to the bottom, at such a critical moment for our nation, and with so many who have tried to be respectful of a record primary vote, the time has come for Governor Pence to lead the ticket, Mr. Huntsman told the newspaper. Mr. Trump had already been on the defensive on Friday after telling CNN that he still believed the exonerated defendants known as the Central Park Five were guilty of a 1989 rape of a female jogger despite DNA evidence to the contrary that later overturned their convictions. Earlier in the day, he also asserted, again without evidence, that the Obama administration was allowing illegal immigrants to enter the country in order to vote in November. The tape was released during what has become a remarkably bad week for Mr. Trump that began with a New York Times report on Sunday that he had declared a $916 million loss on his 1995 income tax returns, a tax deduction so substantial it could have allowed him to legally avoid paying any federal income taxes for up to 18 years. With Friday's attacks on immigrants, African Americans and women, remarkable even for Mr. Trump, Democrats wasted no time before pouncing with email and Twitter blasts. One Republican senator, Kelly Ayotte of New Hampshire, whose re-election prospects this November were damaged when she called Mr. Trump a role model for children this week, said in a statement, his comments are totally inappropriate and offensive. Mr. Trump's behavior has at times startled and unnerved women in his life, from employees at his company to the contestants in his beauty pageants, the New York Times found after interviewing dozens of them for an article in May. They described unwanted romantic advances and unending commentary on the female form. Temple Taggart, Miss Utah in 1997, was uncomfortable with how forward Mr. Trump was with young contestants like her in his first year as the owner of Miss USA, a branch of the beauty pageant organization. As she recalls it, he introduced himself in an unusually intimate manner. "He kissed me directly on the lips. I thought, oh my God. Gross." He was married to Marla Maples at the time, she said. "I think there were a few other girls that he kissed on the mouth. I was like, wow, that's inappropriate." Mr. Trump has sought in recent days to make Mr. Clinton's past extramarital behavior and treatment of women into a campaign issue, calling him the single greatest abuser of women in the history of politics. He has also suggested that he might raise Mr. Clinton's indiscretions at one of the two remaining presidential debates if Mrs. Clinton harshly attacks him. Mrs. Clinton, who assailed Mr. Trump for his demeaning treatment of women during their presidential debate last week, has not decided whether to use Sunday's debate to attack Mr. Trump over his latest remarks about women or the Central Park Five. A Clinton spokeswoman called Mr. Trump's 2005 comments horrific and added, "We cannot allow this man to become president." Mrs. Clinton's running mate, Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia, said in response to the remarks, "It makes me sick to my stomach." He took the opportunity to advance a Clinton campaign talking point, reminding reporters that Mr. Trump had called women pigs, dogs and slobs in the past, as well. Dawn Laggins, the executive vice president of the Planned Parenthood Action Fund, went even further, suggesting Mr. Trump was musing about committing a crime. "What Trump described in these tapes amounts to sexual assault," said Ms. Laggins. "Trump's behavior is disgusting and unacceptable in any context, and it is disqualifying for a man who is running for president of this country." Democrats in competitive races were quick to pounce too. Governor Maggie Hassan of New Hampshire, who is running against Ms. Ayotte, seized on Mr. Trump's remarks to continue hammering her for saying that Mr. Trump was a role model. Ms. Ayotte quickly said she misspoke. "These vile comments from Donald Trump cannot be excused," Ms. Hassan said. "It is beyond comprehension how Senator Ayotte could continue to support this man for the highest office in the land, let alone call him a role model." Most of Mr. Trump's closest advisors were engrossed in debate preparations when the story broke. A number of aides had not read it. Among those who had, there were expressions of shock. One aide to Mr. Trump said that it remains to be seen whether this will be worse for the candidate than any of his previous controversies. Mr. Trump's aides told him of the Post article just as his debate preparation for the day was wrapping up, according to a person briefed on the discussions. Mr. Trump was played the audio and acknowledged that he had said those words. His aides were weighing how to address it beyond his initial terse statement. Republicans who are close to party leaders said this is a potentially fatal moment. Mike Murphy, a Republican strategist who is opposed to Mr. Trump, said, "This is the moment candidates should use to cut ties with Trump." Regarding the event in Wisconsin on Saturday, he added, "I recommend Paul come down with a dental emergency tonight." The video of Mr. Trump talking to Mr. Bush was filmed as they sat on a bus on the set of a soap opera, where Mr. Trump was making a cameo appearance. The conversation was recorded after he had married Melania Trump, his third and current wife. At one point, the conversation in the video was interrupted when an actress arrived to take Mr. Trump and Mr. Bush to the set. Mr. Trump appeared to become aroused by her arrival. "You know I'm automatically attracted to beautiful, I just start kissing them," Mr. Trump says. "It's like a magnet. Just kiss. I don't even wait." When Mr. Bush suggests that the actress, Ariane Zucker, give Mr. Trump a little hug, Mr. Trump adds that Melania said this was okay.